recording. And there we go. So yeah, I'm going to give people a moment here to join up. And obviously we're in a bullish trend day scenario. That was pretty apparent after 10 o'clock today. If you guys remember what I said if at 10 o'clock, at the 10 o'clock macro, we don't see price give us a nice textbook reversal here after taking the high, run this liquidity, we'll probably be in a bullish trend day scenario. We'll probably run through the 4 hour. And so far, that's kind of been the case. Might have been smart of me to buy calls coming into the 1050 macro here, because that's when price started to accelerate, right? It's where we typically see distribution. And now we're starting to stall again, which makes sense. So we'll keep an eye on a couple things. Obviously the 4 hour, and then this 1 hour gap here, that last gap in the leg. We'll kind of go from there. Yeah, for sure, Harry. How was Aaron running? Good. It was actually really quick. Normally we pick up groceries during rush hour, and it takes a lot longer. But yeah, today I had the Walmart pickup ready. I had the Kroger pickup ready. They loaded our cars as soon as we got there, and it took about 30 minutes. So I run out, grab everything, and come back home, and then probably another 10 or so to put everything away. So pretty easy. Was the roadblock in the left in AM, was it the BPR on the 15-minute? Yeah, yep. That's what I had the arrow pointing to, was this. And then once we closed above that, we kind of knew we were going to head higher. But yeah, really, really easy read today on the trend day. We're just now kind of chopping, right? Typically what follows distribution is accumulation, so we just got caught in the accumulation phase. And if you remember what I said, whenever we have a choppy AM, usually price starts to clean up around 11, and we kind of saw that happen here. Specifically this inverse here wasn't horrible. Obviously just way out of the typical kill zone time, but we got it during a macro, which was good. And then I think we had an SMT there too, so that wasn't horrible. It might have been a break-even trade when we got the pullback there. But if you didn't get break-even, then obviously you're probably still in. But yeah, other than that, the trade I took this morning was the 30-second short. I thought this was pretty clean, pretty textbook after sweeping the liquidity. So I tried that, got break-even on that. And then after that, the 1 minute short here was invalid because we hit the internal low. And then the long we actually got at 940 here wasn't horrible. I think I would have taken this had we gotten it in the macro. I think this was pretty good because we were still respecting that 2 minute, which I said all morning was the key to our delivery. And as long as we held that, we were still delivering bullish all morning, and that's the reason why I've never flipped to my bias once all day. It's because the only time we pivoted bias was here. This is the only time that okay, we knew price was going to go to that next low, and then once we hit that next low, we didn't really know. But yeah, for today, let's kind of roadmap it out. Let's figure out kind of our condition here. So I would prefer to see price close over the BPR here. I think that would probably make sense in the context of the rest of the day. If we don't close over this 4 hour, it's going to make a longing pretty tricky, because that won't confirm bullish delivery to the high here, which would make any shorts here more probable, right? We want to see confirmation that we're coming to this high. And if we don't get that, then I feel like we're due for a pullback. And if we don't get a pullback, then we'll just be longing in premium all day without a guaranteed delivery. So it'll just make everything more difficult, and I'll feel less confident in longs, and I'll probably just want to see good retracements before trying to take anything. I think ideally we'd want to see something to 50% here. So if we look at the hourly time frame, I think that's the best time frame to be looking at. In terms of 50% retraces, we might see something here, but honestly, it's not that clean. There's not really any obvious gaps or anything like that. around the hourly. So let's maybe try the 5 minute here. And at the 5 minute, we kind of have this area in price, these inefficiencies that we've left behind this 15 minutes. So maybe we'll see a pullback to this 15-minute gap and then along from there. That could work too. We haven't been moving too much today. We're only 80 points away from that, so it wouldn't be unrealistic if we were to like cut through these 15-minute gaps here and then come down and hit that, right? Plus, when we get down to this level here, we have some 5-minute order blocks that should help support price, and so if we got a long from there, I wouldn't hate that. We'd also be sweeping out lunch lows there too. Condition to look for shorts would just be this 15-minute gap. If we break that, I would be bearish. So it's basically just this 15-minute. If we support it, then I'll remain higher time frame bullish. If we break it, I'll switch my bias to higher time frame bearish. So yeah, kind of where I'm at today. While we're up here in this range, I'm not going to be taking anything. Obviously, it's just very choppy. We're not forming 1 minute fair value gaps, so it makes it pretty easy for us in terms of trying to figure out what we're going to do now. I think expecting to see shorts today is probably not in the cards unless we inverse that 15-minute with like good momentum or something happens. But I think what's most likely to happen here is we get the 4-hour inverse. Maybe we get a pullback after that. And then maybe at 3 o'clock during that macro, we see price, manipulate, take out the previous hourly low after we've pulled back. And then we can use that previous hourly low sweep to target previous hourly high. But overall, like, I'm not really expecting a whole lot out of the session. Like, if you wanted to skip today because you have something to do, today wouldn't be a bad day to do it. By the way, after today, I am going to raise the prices for the one-on-ones. So I guess today is like your last chance. These spots for June are kind of filling up. I just had somebody book a week with me. So if you were interested in trying to get some time this June, make sure you do that sooner rather than later. Pingu, I would just wait for price to retrace to an unfilled bullish gap and then wait for the long. I wouldn't want to fade the higher time frame here, especially when it looks this V-shape. So I don't think I would look for a short. I mean, even if we don't tap the 15-minute here, that's fine. I'm just giving the ideal scenario because here we're leaving behind a conflicting draw in the form of this 15-minute unfilled gap. And so if we balance that conflicting draw, then the only clear draw left will be the highs here. Just makes it higher probability to address the conflicting draw. Could you go over where is the correct place to draw the 50% from? Yeah, so basically, anytime I'm drawing a 50%, I'm trying to get it to align with like some unfilled PD array or some liquidity level. And I'll only use like the most obvious highs and lows. And so like here, if you look at the 1 hour, we see an obvious low here and an obvious high here. But if we draw out the 50%, there's not really any significant liquidity that rests around that 50% level. Maybe like, I don't know, those equal lows I just saw, but yeah, there's not really anything significant here if you come down the time frames, right? I guess the equal lows. So maybe we see an hourly retrace to here, right? But you also have to be like realistic in the context of the chart. Would it be realistic to see price come all the way back to here for a 50% retrace if all day we've just proven that we're incredibly bullish and it's clear that price wants to go up and maybe inverse these gaps? Probably not, considering we'd have to violate this key point of interest here, right? This this 15-minute unbalanced for value gap. So if we violate that to take out these equal lows, then that will probably make us bearish, which doesn't really make sense if all we're looking for is a 50% retrace to then continue to see price be bullish, right? So that's why I'm not really looking for a 50% retrace off the 1 hour time frame. But if we come down to the 5-minute here or the 15-minute, we can kind of see that there's this low that exists that's somewhat obvious. I mean, it's not the most obvious low in the world, but it sticks out as like the most apparent low if you were to like look left on the chart, right? Besides this low. And so I have that one marked out because it kind of nicely aligns with that 15-minute gap that, you know, I mentioned would be interesting to see for a retrace. And so that's why I have that 50% level marked there. But honestly, I don't really think a 50% retrace here makes sense. Just because on trend days, you normally don't see 50% retraces, right? So the only reason why I'm even marking out the 50% in the first place is to find potential places where price could retrace to discount for us to then take a long, because I'm going to do my best to try and avoid longing in premium. But if that doesn't happen, then what I need to see happen is price to generate a lot more structure, a lot more liquidity, maybe equal highs or whatever, so I feel more confident about longing in premium, especially when we have conflicting draws below in the form of the unfilled 15-minute, right? So kind of the idea for right now. That low is 3-minute equal lows. Yeah, 3-minute, 5-minute. Is it 15? Yeah, 15-minute. So but yeah, for now we'll keep an eye on this 5-minute gap here. We just created equal lows at the gap, so I expect those to be hit. And then if we start displacing through this, technically that would mean that we respect the last gap in the leg here. We respect the 4-hour. And if we get the inverse during the macro here, maybe, I would expect to see price come down to at least this low for the break even, and then maybe even potentially that unfilled 15-minute as like that final TP. But if we're to remain bullish, I wouldn't expect price to break that, so I don't think I would target anything lower than that if I was to take a short. The issue with trying to take this 5-minute is you're directly shorting into a 15-minute bullish unfilled gap, the last gap in this swing. So it's not really that high probability. It's probably more an eval trade, if anything, because it just doesn't meet the model condition, and it doesn't meet like the bias here, obviously, right? If we short here, we're going to be fading the bias, so that's why I would never take this unfunded. But maybe if we got like, you know, price to fail to inverse the 4-hour here, we manipulate up, and then we get like a short after to go break even at the equal lows here, you know, that would be much better, because then we're not having to short into bullish for value gaps, right? So kind of every scenario worked out here as far as potential inverses. Overall, I think my favorite situation here is going to be for the 4-hour to inverse, and then a pullback, and then a long. So kind of my thoughts. Does it not matter what kind of candle type it is for equal lows, like bullish or bearish? Not really. What matters more is that the equal lows are formed on swing highs or swing lows. So like these equal lows don't really matter, but what I like about them is that they're paired nicely with the 5-minute gap here. So we have one liquidity pool in the form of this imbalanced fair value gap, right? And then we have another liquidity pool where we have price at the exact same spot, right? So we have like the swing low, one liquidity pool. This is a liquidity pool. So anytime we have two liquidity pools in the same spot, that's usually a good sign that that's going to be targeted. Yeah, it's good because it combines draw exactly. Yep. Yep. Anytime we have multiple draws and liquidity in the same spot, that just improves the likelihood that we target that place. How was AM stream this morning? For those of you that were there. It was pretty nice because me and Dodgy were on the same page. Obviously, I made my comment about the protected high, and I was wrong about that because obviously I'm still learning things, and I don't know, I make mistakes from now and again, but that was a good teachable moment for me for sure. 1 minute long was subjectively B, right? I thought the 1 minute long this morning, if you're talking about 940, we respected bias. We got the model. We had decent momentum. If you look at the bottom of the swing to the top, it was 23 points in 2 minutes. So that's pretty good. And the only thing we were missing there was time. But obviously the draw on liquidity wasn't the best. So I'd give it like definitely A minus or even A setup here subjectively. But I'm just never gonna take it because like I don't really love the draw. But even still, like the draw here to the 1 minute BPR is decent because it's an unfilled lower time frame gap. It's like I think the sixth best liquidity or something. So it's not horrible, but yeah, that momentum there on the inverse wasn't too bad. This was probably like the second best play of the day behind this short. Can I address that? What did he say? Oh, about the protected high. So yeah, protected high is only confirmed when we put in the swing. Just because we sweep a high and close back below that high, that's not a protected high. You have to confirm that with the swing. So I figured when we got the close back below, that was good enough for the protected high, but you have to wait for that second candle close there in order for it to be confirmed. But yeah, coming into the 150 macro here in about 30 seconds. We just need a swing to confirm that it's a protected high, essentially. Which I thought it was just a candle close, but yeah, you need the swing there. So when we failed to put in the protected high there, that's kind of what made me start to think that we were going to be bullish into the end of the day, like long term. But yeah, getting a little bit of a pullback now. Looks like we are going to come back for these equal lows here. Just got to give it a couple moments. All right, there's the equal lows. And now we'll keep an eye on the 5 minute here. If the 5 minute gets inversed, that'll be like the first step to seeing price pull back. Obviously, we'll see price run into this 15 minute gap here, so we'll have to monitor that as well, that reaction. But honestly, like I don't even think it really makes sense to see price violate this 5 minute unless we're coming all the way down to this 15 minute down here. So that kind of makes me think that this 15 minute gap isn't going to be too important, especially since it wasn't even used to send price higher. We just kind of went up straight away there. So I think if we start to come down through this 15 minute gap here and this 5 minute, we'll probably see that second 15 minute gap get inversed as well. And then we'll see this 15 minute down here get hit. Especially if we don't inverse the 4 hour, which right now it doesn't really look like we're going to, but we still have another 10 minutes. So we'll see. Could get a 2 minute long. We could. Obviously, you probably already know my thoughts on it. Going to be way too high in premium for me to take. And in order for me to take a long in premium, I need a good draw on liquidity, and we just don't have that right now. So just going to sit here and watch, right? We want to continue to be patient, just like we were yesterday. And then we don't get our setup, we don't get our setup, and we'll wait until the next day. But just so you guys know, NFP week for PM isn't normally the best, considering that Thursday session before NFP is pretty mid, considering we have the news the next morning, and then obviously during NFP we usually see expansion, and so after NFP we normally consolidate or accumulate, and so Thursday and Friday are usually pretty mid for PM. So we basically have today and tomorrow as like our chances at like a trade. And if we don't get them because today we're in a bullish trend day scenario and yesterday was obviously choppier, then this week we might have like maybe only one trade, maybe two. Have I ever considered doing tutorial videos? Of course, but I feel like a lot of the stuff that I talk about has already been covered by Dodgy or somebody else. Would you long even if we are reacting off the 1 hour FVG? Yeah, as long as we inverse the 4 hour. But obviously, I'm not going to long this high until we get a pullback, so. What about my teaching style makes it easier to understand? Like, what is it that I do differently? Okay. So you just like the detail that I provide, essentially, in that I explain it in a more calm demeanor. Yeah, I try my best to, avoid catching myself in a catch-22 Wesley where I say one thing and then I contradict myself. It's hard because, like, we get scenarios like yesterday where we get that 1 minute inverse after a big pump up, and in most scenarios there we say don't take that, but there's going to be a couple subjective scenarios there where if you don't really understand how liquidity operates, you're going to be confused and you're not going to want to take that. And like, I understand why, right? It's just a screen time thing. But obviously, I can do my best to try and bridge that gap between, screen time and then obviously, what we talked about in the past. Taking this 1 minute? No, this 1 minute's not for me. For sure, Shadka, for sure. I got you, Zach. Yeah. No, I try and be pretty clear about, the kinds of things I like or I don't like. Like this morning, I liked the idea of that 30-second short there. However, I think it's best to wait for this one because we don't have delivery confirmed here since this gap isn't that significant until we get the BPR here and we start to reject. So this is where Dodgy's starting to flip. But for me, I'm already kind of married to this idea of taking the second inverse there just for that extra confirmation. So I was still waiting, and then obviously that went invalid before I got the inverse. But this is something that I would have liked, and like I'm not going to take this ever. And I kind of explained why I didn't end up taking it. But yeah, I totally understand why somebody might take this trade and be convinced that based off this candle here, the rejection we get from the BPR, that delivery is flipped at this moment, and then they can just go to break even at this low, which, like, great. And, we're still in that macro time too, so, it makes sense where if we were to get a reversal, that would be the time to do it. I do think though that AM it's more difficult to teach in because there's so much going on during AM, and I bet you it's a lot more difficult to teach when you have 700 people. Like I can go through concepts here pretty easily because we're just not really doing anything during PM, and so there's a lot more opportunities where like I can kind of do my thing and answer questions. But during AM, we're usually getting constant moves and that kind of thing. Yeah, I got you, Zebby. Yep. I don't know. I feel like you kind of have to be empathetic to people's situations when you are sitting there. Like if you're somebody that's on a stage and you're like having to repeat yourself over and over again, a typical person might just like stop repeating themselves because they're like, well, the content's there. Like if they want to go look it up, they can. Whatever reason, right? But I understand that like some of you guys aren't always going to be at the charts. You have things going on in your lives. So if you miss something that I say, or maybe you weren't here or whatever, I'm never going to not repeat myself just because life happens, right? When I did it to determine your bias, but I like that you went into detail and explained why. A lot of the time, I find finding bias with FPGs can be confusing too. Yeah, for sure. Um, I mean, all you really need there, like you said, is the 1 hour. But I like adding in the other pieces to kind of explain, what phase of the market we're in. Nah, it's fine, Harry. It's really not a big deal. For sure. Yeah, of course, Exis, right? I rant a little less than ICT. Okay, cool. Do you clear your charts after each trading day and start fresh? Yeah, normally I'll clear my charts and start fresh. Yeah, usually before each session, actually. Looks like we're rejecting the 1 hour Sibi. Think if we death candle on the 5 minute, we could see more downside. Yeah, I think if we inverse this 5, we'll probably see more downside. Especially since we're not going to see the 4 hour inverse here. Yeah, for sure, Odie. Do I take this 5 minute short? Um, Maybe like on an eval, or maybe on an account I don't care about, but probably not enough funded because I'm just not certain on higher time frame delivery yet. We're kind of between two fair value gaps, the 4 hour and the 1 hour and the 15 minute year. So while we're between two higher time frame PD arrays, I can't get a clear idea on delivery, which just prevents me from taking a trade because when the bias isn't clear, I don't really know where price wants to go, which if I don't know where price wants to go and I take a trade, that's essentially just gambling. Break even, not clear to you on the 5 minute? Yeah, for me, it's pretty easy. It's just this low here on the 1 minute, right? We have a 3 minute gap there, so it's just like you're going to break even at a low inside the gap. 50% of the 1 hour FEG on the left. So we are tapping into this 1 hour bullish gap that we just formed now. So we'll keep an eye on this reaction here. First bearish 1 hour candle in, what is that, 8 hours? No, 10 hours? So we'll see. Okay, Odie, okay. For sure, dude. Yeah, I've been playing options more and more because we've been getting these like easier to read moves over the session these last couple weeks. Okay, death candling a little bit here. Like I said, if we started to push through this 15 minute, I don't think this 15-minute below is going to matter. So let's see if that idea here is right. And if we, get a couple consecutive bearish death candles here, um, then I think that 15-minute idea is going to be right. If we kind of hard reject here out of that last gap in the leg and we shoot back up, then obviously, my idea was wrong and the 15-minute is going to hold here, which will help determine our delivery. But overall, I mean, where's an entry for us here? I mean, maybe this 30-second, but it would have ended up being a break even. We have equal highs above. So because we've hit this 1 minute here, I'd say this 5-minute play is invalid, unfortunately. I guess maybe you could have taken the 2-minute there and just gone break even. But yeah, so far, idea here for this 15-minute gap is kind of working out. I didn't really think it would be that important. And so now we'll just watch this lower 15-minute here. And if we get a nice, bullish reaction to it, we could definitely see longs play out. If we don't really see anything like that happen, then obviously maybe shorts will be on the table and we could see price come back maybe all the way to the equal lows here, maybe lower. We'll just have to see. I mean, pretty bearish reaction to that last 1 hour gap in the legs, so that kind of makes sense. Oh, I didn't even notice this with the 4 hour here. So if we look at the 4 hour, I mean, this last 4 hour gap in the leg here is just below 50%. And that kind of lines up perfectly with those equal lows. So that definitely could be our draw now if we inverse this 15-minute. That definitely could be the draw. By the way, IV today on options, I was checking super, super low. So any of these bigger moves are going to kind of increase the IV here probably. Yeah, when I checked it was at 19. Now we're seeing IV at 25. So yeah, just based off this death candle, I'm already kind of anticipating price to get to this 15-minute gap here. And then once we get to this 15-minute gap, we'll gauge that reaction. If we dump through it, I'll expect that lower 4 hour unfilled gap to get hit. If we respect it, then I'll probably just see price reverse and come back up. But yeah, we've hit that hourly BISI there too. So I'm not going to get married to the 15-minute here if we just start to reverse. Like if we saw maybe the I guess this 3-minute get put in and we inverse this 3-minute, like this would probably be a good play. Might get a confirmation short here on the 1 minute. Is higher IV good? Not necessarily. IV just kind of dictates one part of the equation for the Greeks in determining options pricing. And the higher the IV, the more expensive the premium is. So whenever IV spikes, you normally see a comparable increase in the pricing of the option. You draw equilibrium, does the candle not have to close? No, normally you want to form a swing. Indicator alerted potential long? Okay, for sure. So yeah, we're kind of getting this 30-second confirmation here. It's not really a singular obvious gap. We're still during that macro time, so isn't that crazy how we start to accelerate during when? When does price start to accelerate? Yeah, during the macro. So just want to point that out for you once again, guys. We chop for however long here and then hop into the macro and we start to see death candles and good momentum. Am I taking this 30-second? Nah, I'll just watch it play out. Our higher time frame delivery still isn't confirmed. bearish or bullish either way. And it's not really like that textbook confirmation setup. You know, it's pretty like mid in terms of singular gap and that kind of thing. So probably just skip out on it, but you can see why there just failed. So I guess good job us for avoiding that. Maybe if we get a better pullback here and we get a nicer confirmation setup, we can see something like that work out. But we have 50% still intact here on the 1 minute dealing range. So maybe we see that get hit and then a confirmation setup. You know, we've been very bullish all day. Don't want to try and force a short that isn't there. Okay. So no pullback there for us to that 50%. Looks like we're just going to keep falling here. But yeah, makes sense. I mean, we've completely fallen through. We got 5 more minutes till that 15-minute candle close here, confirming that higher time frame delivery to the 15-minute gap there. I think we are definitely bearish. I definitely am leaning more towards bearish, but getting that candle close on the 15-minute there will be that confirmation. We could definitely see a scenario here where price jumps back up in those last few minutes of the 15-minute candle, and we end up respecting that. That's why I'm not full on bearish bias, but yeah, obviously I'm leaning that way. Like, I'm definitely like thinking this is bearish over bullish. Okay. So good move there. Kind of expected, right? Did we hit that 15-minute? Oh, mid equal lows there. Just that last tick will get us there. All right, I think we got it. So there's the 15-minute gap there. That's where I wanted to see a retrace to before looking for longs. And we're still dumping. Okay. Dang. I guess I should have taken the options there, huh? I was debating taking it here, but I figured the futures play would be better if we got it, but we just never got the futures play here. Reason why I was waiting for the futures play is because I figured for options we would just be way too close to that final TP for it to be worthwhile for the move. But on the contracts I was looking at, they're already up 50%. So that's pretty crazy just from those couple candles there. So say we get a 15-minute close here. What then? Confirmation entry short. Yeah, probably just wait for a confirmation setup. I don't think we're going to see the 15-minute candle close through this gap. I think we're just going to stick to being bullish. But now maybe here we can see um, an IFEG to the upside. You know, maybe we see this 1 minute, or is there any better time frame? No. So yeah, 1 minute here, 30-second here. Either or, yeah, looks like 1 minute. If we get a 1 minute long out of this 15-minute gap, that would be good. Break even would be this high. Kind of far away for a break even, but I mean, yeah, so far just still falling. If we continue to see, you know, lower lows getting put in, we see that 15-minute gap get inversed, obviously my next target will be the equal lows. And this does start to look like the sell side of the curve, so maybe this is like trying to long on the sell side of the curve, but we haven't confirmed that until that 15-minute gap gets inversed, obviously. So that's why I'm not really calling that out yet. You know, maybe this was us completing it right here. Maybe we have to go lower and take out those equal lows. Who knows? The dole to the upside is not that great. Yeah, that's true, but what's important when considering bias is delivery plus draw and liquidity, and so right now our delivery is still bullish as long as we're respecting this 15-minute gap here. Once we break this, then yeah, obviously I'll be bearish, right? And then our draw and liquidity is very good to the equal lows. But yeah, not yet, not yet. Any trades yet? Not yet. Not yet. Yeah, main draw and liquidity is obviously going to be the equal lows. Say we get okay, caught up. Why are you using this 15-minute? Because it's obvious and it was around 50% of the up move, and it's the last gap in the swing here on the 15-minute time frame. So the last gap in the leg is normally very important, and it's also a 5-minute, like this whole series of 5-minute gaps here sent price higher. And so because this is kind of the series of gaps that we're using to send price higher, it has significance. Oh, not the other one? You're talking this one? I mean, the reason why this one wasn't important is because it doesn't have any history. It doesn't really have any significance on the chart. But yeah, I mean, if we got this 1 minute long, I'd take it. Hopefully it's a good momentum play. It'll be outside of the macro now, so we need bias, momentum, and obviously we have the model already. So as long as we get the model with bias and momentum, we're good here. And for momentum, I just want to see like a good candle through there. Odie, you caught that? Nice. Nice, nice. You open puts there. Okay. Nice play. Yeah, that first one's fine, Tommy. That's kind of what I have for the hourly, and then for the other one, that's the other one that I had drawn to give us a target for 50%. So yeah, I think the second one is what we need to be using right now. The first one is just for the overall range, which, I mean, that's typically how you want to draw it. There's just not really any good liquidity targets on the 1 hour here that line up nicely with 50%. Other than obviously the 15-minute, and as I stated earlier, it doesn't really make sense for price to come down this far unless we inverse this 15-minute gap. If we don't inverse this 15-minute gap, then I'll probably just anticipate higher prices here. So we got this 15-minute close, and what's significant about it is that we actually did not close in the gap. So that's usually a sign that price is looking to maybe pull back. I think we're just kind of waiting. I don't know for what, but I do like this 1 minute here. If we get it with a nice OB, good momentum, that should be a good play to take us to at least this high and maybe back to high of day here. Is there LRLR above in the 1 minute? Not really. Yeah, for the next macro, I guess, Evie, yep. Yeah, for sure, Fahrenheit. Isn't the 15-minute a CIST to the downside? I don't think so yet. I don't think so. Because as long as we're respecting this 15-minute gap, we're still in the clear. I mean, we have a 1 hour here. We have a 15-minute. Like, this could just be like a 50% retrace for the 15-minute time frame here. If you look, price basically tapped that about as clean as you can get. Maybe we missed it by a tick, so maybe that's why we're stalling here on the reversal. We just need to see price hit that 50% level, and then we'll be good to go. We'll be in business. Yeah, so basically the 15-minute body not closing inside the gap is basically, I don't know if you've heard from ICT in the past, but bodies tell the story, wicks do the damage. So this 15-minute gap not, or 15-minute candle not closing the gap is Price's way of telling us the story that Price wants to respect 15-minute or bullish for value gap still, but that's about it. It's just like an added confluence. The reasoning why is essentially like Price dipped in, hit a bullish PD rate, balanced it, and then immediately rejected out of it. It's kind of like the whole idea behind an IOFED. It's that similar concept. So good candle there. That's what we want to see if we're going to see a 1 minute inverse here. I'm kind of leaning towards an options play here potentially. But yeah, stop on this is probably going to be included with the inception gap that we're forming. So about 20 point stop, 1.4 to the target. I think this is a fine play. If I saw this in a journal, I wouldn't hate it. Hopefully we get the candle close here in the next 1 or 2 minutes. We also have a 3 minute, a 2 minute, and a 1 minute. Obviously we want to see those close over as well. So if we get the 1 and 2 minute candle close here in the next minute, that would be good. And then the 3 minute will close in another 2 minutes. Ben, are you here? This is that moment. This is where we can talk about inception gaps. You waiting for the 3? I mean, I'd want all the time frames here, but I'll probably just take it on the 1 and 2 if we get it here in 30 seconds. I like this momentum. Am I taking it? Yeah. I've said it like 3 different times. Really want to see the 3 minute close over here too. I mean, that would give me a lot of confidence. I like this momentum. I'm okay with not closing over here. Honestly, I'd rather see the 3 versus the 2 here. So 1 more minute till that 3 minute candle closes also. Alright, so looks like close is going to be a little high up here. We're going to want to size down a bit. This stop loss is pretty big now. It's about 25 points. Well, maybe it improves a little there. So there's the close, by the way. Just about 1-to-1 to that first break-even target. I'd probably go break-even here. Sell at that first high there. Dang, only one of my options got filled there. So yeah, 3 minute inverse here. Want to see the 2 minute now close over. We got about 30 more seconds before that happens. And then if we get that 2 minute close over, that'll give us the nice confirmation we needed. But yeah. 2-minute close is over there now too, so should be good to go. Should be good to go to that next break-even target. Maybe we have a 30-second here that I missed. Nope. So yeah, it should be good. Paying attention here to potential SMTs on ES. So far, we don't have any. In this example, would you put your hard stop below the swing low or just below the inception gap? I just below the inception gap here. Yeah, like down here at like 640 or whatever. Hopefully we close over this. Get a nice OB maybe. Good candle here. Do you find the momentum is slower in PM? Well, you tell me, Brandon. What do you think? So far, yes. Okay. I'm going to tend to disagree with you. I'm liking this momentum, but yeah, overall, usually on average, yeah, PM momentum is a little bit slower. We just have a little less volume in PM, I think. Yeah, for sure. Missed this, but nice entry. Dang, you missed this? How? Am I in 3 cons? Yep. And a little options play to top it off. So hopefully we can get that first break-even target. That'll be a free trade. Get our first scale. And then just try holding for whatever. Let's pay attention here and make sure we're not about to form a 15-minute gap or whatnot. If we form this 15-minute gap in 6 minutes, I guess that would be our break-even if we don't get to the high. Good 5-minute candle there, closed over this candle, so I mean we kind of have like an order block thing going on. But yeah, obviously, you know, this is where I would expect price to go at the bare minimum. And then, you know, obviously if we can see good acceleration through the gap at first, then I'll probably hold runners and we'll try and go for a higher day here. Technically here, price put in a new swing high, so model says this is where you're supposed to go break even. When we resweep that new swing high, I think in this context it actually makes sense because there's no reason for price to retrace here. We're not going to be reacting to any imbalances, and we should just hit that next internal high there since there's not really any roadblock in the way. So I think I'll probably go stop the break even when we retake this internal high that we just put in. So yeah, I don't think there's really any reason for us to pull back here, especially if we close over the high. So 5 more seconds. So Looks like we did get that close over. I think it makes sense to go break even here. I think we'll probably hit this high regardless. But, I mean, this is a pretty safe break even at this point. And then, yeah, about to hit that actual break even target, or true break even, I guess you could say. So there's that break even target there. And then obviously we're about to hit that first TP, so get that TP ready and we'll be good to go. There's that first TP there. Oh wait, just missed it. I always take profit a couple ticks early, but there it is officially. And then next TP will kind of be dependent on wherever price is going. Maybe this high inside the gap here, this 1 minute high. We'll say next TP at 725 here. And then, yeah, we'll just go from there. Up about 20 something points, I think. If you're in this trade with like a good amount of contracts here, I would definitely scale at least half, maybe even majority here if you have something like 5 contracts. But yeah, there we go. Options contracts are up pretty nicely. Up about, I don't know, 50% so far. But yeah, hopefully we just keep pushing through this 5-minute / 15-minute gap that we're about to form here, and we can keep making higher highs and just head back for high a day here. I like that we're putting in bullish for value gaps, closing over previous highs here. It's a good sign. So yeah, you guys keep asking me, or a couple people have asked me, when do I normally take trades during PM? Kind of all over the place. Yesterday we didn't take a trade until after 3:30. Today we took a trade right around 2:15. So it's kind of all over the place. Yeah, for sure, Skyway. When we wrap up this trade, I'll do a little trade recap, kind of going over all my thoughts in the moment. I'm just trying to figure out where I'm going to take profit on these options. I'm up quite a bit now, coming up on 70% now. We are running into a bit of a problem here. We have an SMT with that next target that I want with ES, so hopefully we just continue to expand up here, but not exactly what you're looking to see. If you want to, I mean, at this point, this trade's gone, how far? 2R maybe? Only 1.5, so, I mean, it's up to you if you want to take more profit. I'll probably just wait. Where are we at in terms of 50% here? Have we hit that yet? Okay, so we have. So yeah, let's just keep it pushing here. Hopefully ES continues to help propel price. Want to see more continuous closes over previous highs here, so hopefully we get another nice 1 minute candle. Just close over these highs we're stuck at right now. Be nice to get a 1 minute order block here if we get that close back above. Final target is just high of day here for me. That would be cool to see as a final target. Definitely could happen as long as we get good momentum through this last 1 minute gap here, and as long as we don't get an SMT at high of day. Delta on my contracts is really good right now. I just need like another 50-cent move here on QQQ, and I think I might take profit for these. You don't think we hit 858 today? I mean, maybe. We just need really good momentum. I'm just trying to be realistic. Elmon, I think drilling your stop below these fair value gaps is fine, but I would probably just try and hold for 725 here and then sell that last contract. That's what I would do if I was down to 1. I wouldn't try and hold for high of day. Might be a little too difficult to go hit. Am I only leaving one runner after 725? Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm doing, but kind of up to you guys. What you gotta do. Yeah, I'll recap the trade after. How many trades you take in a day? Yeah, so normally I'll take 1 trade per session. That's usually what I do. So we're starting to form conflicting, inefficiencies now. We have the 5 minute that we just formed and just missed. So maybe once we tap that, we'll see price head higher here. I just want to continue to see price putting in higher highs, disrespecting bearish PD arrays, and hopefully we don't respect this one. So yeah, I should have that 5 minute hit now. Hopefully we just IO fed and V-shape back up now. All right, this is exactly what I'm hoping isn't going to happen, where we just start to disrespect bullish PD arrays, like inverse this 5 minute down. That would be bad. Hopefully this is just like a slight pullback and then we get like a confirmation setup. Formed equal lows there. Yeah, I don't really like that we're rejecting after retracing a 0.5 here. Maybe it's just a little short-term retrace, but we want to see price respect this 1 minute, these 1 minute gaps here, and then maybe we get a confirmation set up on the 1 minute also. All right, so 1 minute gap created here. Need to see a good candle. Otherwise, these remaining contracts are probably just going to get stop break even, which that's fine. All right, so it's important there that we did not see a candle close inside the gap, so that's good. Hopefully we just inverse this 1 minute and continue to head higher. If we respect it, start to close in that 1 minute gap, that's not ideal. So I bet you guys are asking about, what do you think about this confirmation setup? Obviously, my answer is going to be, well, now we're in premium of the range, and you should have been in from this first inverse. So this isn't something I'm ever going to take, but I don't see why it wouldn't work to the highs at least, because we are, I believe, delivering bullish here. So we should just continue to see price move up. But we haven't gotten the inverse yet, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Still got to wait for this next candle, I think, to close. Might need to wait for that macro too to finally push price up. Maybe that's what we're waiting on. That's what we're stalling for. Yeah, maybe Pat. What I was kind of thinking about doing personally was like if price closed inside this gap, maybe that's just where I take profit. But I don't really know. I'm probably just gonna stick to the trade and just caveman it out. But yeah, it's definitely something I've seen people do where you just move your stop to the low, because technically this gap is balanced here, so there's no reason for price to come back unless we're bearish, right? Because before we came back to balance the inefficiency, now if we came back, it might be because we're rejecting this gap to the left. So I see the idea. Your idea totally makes sense. I tend to agree with it, but I don't know. Sometimes we get these, reactions where we take the low here and then just soup it and then go back up. And I don't want that to be me and get stopped out. Plus, I'm not in this with like crazy size, so even if I get stop break even, so be it. It's not like I'm holding a full position here or anything. Okay, so we're really struggling to inverse this 1 minute. Not a good sign if we're going to start seeing price respect bearish PD arrays and disrespect bullish ones. Especially since we're rejecting from above 50 and this gap. So hopefully we can get that close over here in the next couple of candles. Just joining, is this the first play? Yeah, this is the first play. We're in from the 2 minute inverse here, or sorry, not 2 minute, 3 minute, 3 minute, and we're trying to target, I guess, high of day again. And right now we're just trying to target 725, that high inside the gap. So like if the candle closed here, that would be good, right? Getting the order block here, getting that inverse, but haven't gotten it yet. Ugh, dude, this is horrible. For sure, Sheets. Yep. We keep pumping up in the first half of the 1 minute candle, and then in the second half we just come right back down. Strongest 1 minute gap ever. Okay, 8 seconds left. All right, we got the close over. So hopefully it should be good to go now. We're inside this 15-minute SIBI, so could be another reason why we're just struggling to push up here. All right, we got 5 more minutes till the macro. So did we hit the high there on ES? No, we're about to though. So made 4 equal highs there with ES. Should just pump up over it now. Okay, so there's the high. Hopefully we just see another close over, keep going. That would be good. No. Bad reaction, bad reaction. Keep it pushing. Five-minute bearish BPR. Yep, we're running into that now too. Bad candles here. We get a soup reaction to the high here. Not what we want to see. Just want to continue to see continuous candle closes over, so hopefully we can fix that. Do it however feels best for you, Damo, but a lot of people use Notion or they have like a spreadsheet that they use to journal their trades, so just something to log them and talk about how you were feeling coming into the trade, the different confluences, the different ideas you were thinking as you were in the trade, and then yeah, obviously the stats behind it too, risk reward, profit, etc. We're violating these bearish gaps on ES here, which is a good sign for us. Bro, what is this doing? SMT with YM. Thanks, Fahrenheit. Very helpful. Dude, part of me just wants to take full profit on this options position and just be left with the futures position. I'm up like about 50%. Like, but obviously, you know, got to see what the macro wants to do. All right, one more minute here. Bad candles there. Want to see that close over that high. Gosh, what is this doing, bro? All right, 15 seconds. I'm not even concerned about the futures position because that's already like break even. I'm concerned about the options because like I know that if this thing really wants to go, my delta's good enough where I'll make pretty good percentage gains on this. Yeah, exactly, Trade Boy. Yeah, I don't know, man. Where's previous hourly high here? Oh, all the way at high. Dang, okay, so that's good. Oh wait, is it? No, it's not. It's on this candle that we're on right now, so it's just here. Which also aligns with the 15 minutes. So maybe this is actually our take profit. It's 721. Maybe we don't try and get greedy here. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, I might get stopped in profit here for sure. I mean, I'm still just sticking with the original break even, take profit, you know, whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's a horrible candle, really horrible reaction to the high. You guys got out? Dang, okay. Alrighty. How I'm coping in this trade right now is I'm thinking, okay, you know, maybe that was just the first couple minutes of the macro where we manipulate, and then we'll just see price, you know, shoot up now that we've manipulated. That's how I'm coping through this trade. That's how I'm justifying still being in it. and that's why I don't necessarily want to move my stop from that original entry point. Also, I'm not in this super heavy, so like I'm not going to be emotional and like move my stop higher if technically the trade hasn't failed yet. So yeah, maybe that's the idea. Get out if we inverse this 3 minute. That could definitely be the play. Because then most likely what will happen if we inverse the 3 minute is we'll come back to our original entry anyway and come down to this last gap in the leg here. So that makes sense. I like that idea. So next 3 minute candle will close in 2.5 minutes. Bruh. Oh my goodness, man. We all momentum is gone. Okay. Maybe we're stacking up for second phase of distribution here. Come on. Just a test of patience. Yep. Okay. It just sucks because like I want to teach for you guys, but like I'm having to sit here and manage the trade myself. So I'm checking, every now and then, and obviously things I can answer quick, I am. But I mean, you guys know how it is. When you're in a trade, you're glued to that screen. So it's kind of how I am right now. Okay, what the hell is this even doing? uh... You think we're gonna get more trades this week? Yeah, maybe tomorrow. Probably not Thursday, Friday, but we'll see. I mean, if we get one tomorrow, that will be 2 for the week. So that's on the low end, at least what we're expecting. Finally, bro. We broke out of it. Have an SMT at the high now, of course. Oh my goodness. I'm so over it. We got full candle retrace there, so just should be good. Like, this should just rally into 3 o'clock, hopefully. All right, here's 3 o'clock. All right, just got out of my options trade. I had a nice healthy amount of profit there. Not trying to mess around in this any longer. Don't know if we're going to close over this 1 minute here, so going to keep an eye on that. Hopefully we do. But yeah, I mean, I was dedicating way too much mental capital to managing that trade, and so I just, whatever, figured it'd be best to get out. Probably going to miss the whole move now, but I don't really care. I'm in it on futures, so it's like a scale, basically. Think about it like that. We're about to hit that second scale. Made equal highs, so just a matter of time. I had my second scale at this 15-minute gap here because it's the previous hourly high, so I think it makes sense for us to take some off there, and then we'll have a runner at that point. Nice, Pat. Good job, dude. All right, so just about hitting that second scale. Not going to call it too early. And back down we go. We have equal highs. I mean, they're not the greatest equal highs in the world, but they should hit. All right, Tammy, I'll see you tomorrow. How do you trade options? I just use Robinhood, but I also use Thinkorswim as well. Just got to get familiar with like the Greeks and you know the different ways that options contracts are priced and figure out a strategy that works for you. For me, it's just taking IFG setups 0 days during PM, and it's been working all right for me. Oh yeah, Fahrenheit. It's where I started, so I had to run it back. I use QQQ, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I mean, we got the 1 minute close over the gap here, so that should be respected. I mean, obviously the 5 never closed over, so I guess we could reject here, and that would make sense, but I mean, we just came so close to that previous hourly high there, and that unfilled 15 minutes, so I feel like we should take that, but obviously another bearish reaction, so kind of glad I scaled my options there because that's really what I cared about. But yeah, at this point, I do think it makes sense to have your stop trailed in profit. I mean, there really isn't any reason why price should cut back here and come to here. I mean, obviously, as long as we're holding that 3 minute, we should be good, but did my indicator show the IFG off the 210 candle? Not sure if that's been asked yet. Just got here. I'm not sure. I alerted it though, so my mental indicator worked. But let me check the bot. I don't know. It doesn't look like it because maybe it's because we don't have the liquidity sweep, but we do here. So maybe it's. Oh, here we go. Yeah, the 2 minute triggered. So yeah, there you go. Just on that other time frame. Yep. Dude, this trade is like giving us the most trouble of any trade during PM ever. Really testing our patience here. What price would you have your trailing stop at? Like, probably below these lows. Like, I just don't think it makes sense for price to come back there before hitting the high. And then we have this like 3 minute that I'm going to 100% stop out in profit if we close below this. So I still have my original break even set, but like I don't think it makes sense for price to come back here before hitting the high again, like the equal highs. So it's kind of up to you. I'm never gonna like tell you how to trail your stop. It's really up to you and your psychology. If your psychology is like in the dumps, then maybe trailing your stop aggressively helps you secure more profit in the long run. If you're somebody who can be patient and wait through a trade, then maybe keeping your stop at break even and only getting out when you know that price is, flipping bias is maybe the way to go. That's what I do. I only ever get out of a trade when I know that price is flipping bias. So for me, that's gonna switch when we inverse this 3 minutes. So that's where I have my like mental trail stop placed. But yeah, no, I feel really good about the scaling where I did with my options. Sold them at the highest price I had them for. Instantly rejected after I sold them. So I feel good about this trade. For me, that was scale 2. And then if it comes back now, it'll be break even. But yep. I'll go over it. Sorry, Skyway. By the way, I never asked, so before everyone starts dipping out here, how many of you took this trade? Okay. I figured it was pretty clean. Bruh. We're going to leave the equal highs. Maybe we're waiting for 315. Um, we could have that last 30 minutes of the last hour push price up. Okay, Zach, gotcha. Yeah, for sure, EJ. I get that. Oh, Dodgy posted the 2 minute trade. For sure, Brandon. Yeah, TB for sure. Yeah. Type 3 if you're still in this trade with me. Okay. Alright. Okay, Exano, okay. I mean, it would keep working as long as this 3 minute holds. If this 3 minute breaks, then yeah, obviously, gotta anticipate price to head lower. I mean, we have a 5 minute too, so we can monitor that. But man, this is coming back. So we have a S&T here at the lows. It's a bullish one. Yep, 30-second re-entry here. Yep. I don't think I'd want to get in at this point, just based off of how choppy we are. But I mean, we want to see price in versus 30-second. That would be good for the trade in general. What's going on, Johnny? Okay. So we didn't close over that tiny gap there. I guess I'll remove that 1 minute. It's not really relevant. Oh yeah, I guess with this 30-second here too, we have equal highs, which is a good draw. So we'll see if we get the close here. Oh, I mean, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. Bullish SMT. We swept the low. Kind of coming into the macro time. Equal highs above. It's just, I mean, in context with the PA, it's just probably momentum that's the problem. And then obviously, you know, we're not actually in the macro time. So, yeah, I feel like you should just be in already. I mean, you want to see this get inversed. We did an inverse up there. We close to the tick, so. Still got an inverse. Uh-oh. If we make a 1 minute OB here, that would be bad. Because price already took the low on ES. So technically, we've swept out this liquidity. So if we're still making lower lows here, that might already be a sign that we flipped. And that we're going to inverse that 3 minute. Please, Brace, please. All right, 3:15 coming up here. There's not a whole lot to say. These last 3 15-minute candles have been super choppy. We're almost coming up on an hour for this trade, so that's kind of interesting, I guess. We entered it at 2:20. It's almost 3:20. Best PA I've seen? Oh, yeah. Do you guys see why I said that I was getting out of my options, you know, when I did? I don't want to deal with this chop. We made a higher high. I figured, you know, we're pretty close to that second TP. That's where I was going to take profit on them anyway. Mental capital's already been spent, so might as well just, you know, cut where I did. You know, I got to consider time as a component of the option too, and if time isn't really doing you any favors, then, you know, take the money away and run while you can, you know. Okay. No close over there. Guys, we are working hard today. All right, we've had to monitor this trade and keep our eyes glued to the charts for an hour straight. I mean, who said trading is easy? You know. Still no close over. Bum, bum, bum. Hell yeah. Got the close over there on the 32nd. Think I might have to get the hammer out? Alright, let's see what I can do. I don't know if I'm going to do a lot today because, you know, we've just been chopping, but I'll take a shot. Come on, Price. Put some elbow into it. I'm working on it. Use the hostage method. I don't even want to ask. Like what? Like, okay. Are you saying like... I think I got it. All right. NQ, if you don't go up right now, ES is going to get it, man. Like, you thought you guys were the best of buddies, the best pair out there. You know, think of all the SMTs you've had. That's all going to be gone if you don't go up right now. All right? Edge, is that what we're talking about? I don't know. Yeah, it seems like NQ wants ES to die. Don't use a hammer, that's for sure. Use a magnet? Okay, we'll try the magnet. Alright. Magnet in play. Knife? Oh, true. I'm not doing that. Alright, now that I'm not focusing on the options, if you guys had questions earlier, we can kind of go over it. Since, you know, we're not really doing a whole lot right now. But yeah, I'll just real quick summarize the idea behind this trade. So, came into the session paying attention to these 15-minute fair value gaps. Said if those broke, I would anticipate price to go to the next, you know, inefficiency there. So, I said, you know, if we broke these, the only spot I would look for a long for here is from this gap. And price retraced, and in the moment, I mentioned that price actually failed to close in the gap. And the reason why that's significant is because what that tells you about price is that we're in a hurry to go to the next inefficiency, and not, you know, stick around and you know, try and cut through this one. And so when we got that reaction, I noted it in live time. I also mentioned that we retraced to about 50 here, and this was a nice singular obvious gap, so we got the model. We swept out these lows here, created a nice 3-minute unfilled gap here for us to target for that first scale. And then obviously, you know, I mentioned potentially seeing previous hourly high hit here as a draw on liquidity, since we'll be so close to it when 3 o'clock opens. And then obviously, you know, I said I want high of day as that final target. And so that's kind of what we have laid out. Originally, I said I wanted this TP, but when I noticed that price actually put in a 15-minute gap here that we left unfilled, I figured it would be safer to just TP at that 15-minute gap, which also aligns with the previous hourly high. And so that was kind of the idea behind this trade. You know, essentially get in off the 2-minute here, since we don't need to wait, or the 1 minute, slash 3 minute, since we don't have to wait for all the time frame confirmations, since we had good momentum. It went along with the bias. Obviously, time wasn't in play there. We'd already finished the macro, but what was nice was that we got the 3 and the 1 minute to close over at the same time, and so we don't really need the 2 as that extra confirmation, but it was something I kept an eye on into that last minute or so before that 2 minute close, just to make sure that all 3 time frames there closed above, because I didn't want to run into a scenario there where like the 2 minute actually ended up holding, and we ended up rejecting and selling off through the 15 minute. So kept an eye on all 3 of those things as the inverse happened, and then obviously after that I said, okay, we're pretty much in the clear. Came up, put in this internal high here, retraced a bit, and then when price came back up to that internal high, I said, okay, we're close enough to this internal high where the actual break even is, where it wouldn't really make sense for price to pull back after sweeping this high before hitting that high. So I would just go to break even at this high. So we went subjective break even there, and then we ended up running that first TP, which was that 3 minute gap. And ever since then, we've just been chopping, waiting for that second TP. So our range is subjective to draw. For the most part, no. I mean, I feel like there's definitely a right and a wrong way to draw a dealing range, but you just want to basically pick out the most obvious high and most obvious low, and that becomes your dealing range. So like right there, that would be 50% on the 5/15 minute. Is your 0 day to expiry your go-to for options? Yeah, unless I'm like taking a swing trade, which I'll only ever do if like we get like a higher time frame inverse that I really like. Okay, TP. But yeah, coming up on 3:30 here, this is where I'd really like to see price accelerate, or at least start to do something, other than just chop. Part of me is debating, cutting an extra contract here just so I can say like, okay, this was a good win. We got, at least 1 R out of it or whatever. But I'm not going to do that because I've already cut once on the options, and so I don't want to do that again. And that's basically saying that my emotions are driving my thought process, and right now it's not logical. I mean, there's nothing telling me that price is bearish yet. We're just mostly neutral, and then as long as we're holding this 3 minute gap, we should be bullish. So if I have a free trade, why would I cut it in neutral price conditions? But yeah, just doji candle after doji candle here. Not even making 1 minute for value gaps. Just really bad price action. So I'm glad we were able to at least get to the break-even point before this started happening. Because can you imagine if we were still struggling to get to break-even and we were having to deal with all this? I mean, think of the mental toll there. Do I ever average down on my trades? No, but I'll average up or average in. Like if we get like a good setup and then we get a confirmation setup after that, sometimes I'll average up, but never down. I feel like DCAing is like just poor trading. DCAing means you have no conviction in your original entry, and so you want to give yourself a better entry. So we got 3:30 here in about 3 minutes. I'll probably end stream when we get final TP. Obviously, this is just TP2, so if we hit high of day, that's probably where I'll wrap things up. Just because we've been on here for a couple hours. I streamed AM this morning. We got our win, so I don't think there's any reason for us to stay on past that point. For sure, Yuki. Have a good one. By the way, this is now our, what, 6th or 7th win in a row? Let me check PM trade recaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. Dude, we have 14 wins in a row. The last win was May 1st. Holy shit. What the hell? Well, now that I said something, I've definitely jinxed it. We are definitely taking a losing trade tomorrow. Why did I even try and check and notice? Like... Coming up once again on those equal highs. Maybe we'll see TP2 finally hit. Alright, if I scaled here, I'd be up 1.3R. Is that worth it? Is that worth it? Here's 330. Closed over that previous 15-minute body. I don't think it's really a significant... It's not like a good OB. It's not like a swing, so... Probably not something I care about too much, but... And we're back down. I mean, he doesn't have to believe me, Electron. Like, he just has to look at the evidence. Don't take my word for it. Just go check the stream recaps. That's the beauty of it, right? Like, I'm very, very clear with every single trade I say I'm taking or I'm not taking. It's not like a, oh, you know, maybe I'm taking this one. Oh, this is A+. I mean, you ask me if I'm getting in. If I like a trade enough, I'm telling you I'm getting in, right? In a way, I am kind of a signal service. You know? I mean, I don't try to be, but I try and be transparent, so... Ugh. I was really hoping we could get a good candle close there on this candle. It's just not. But, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, for sure, Nacho. Bruh, like... Why? Why do you keep failing? Why can you not just go up? Almost got a 3-minute inverse there. I mean, on the bright side, at least we're making higher highs and not lower lows. am I doing this for? 13 points. So, what, $50? I guess. Yeah, sure. Well, that's worth it. Um, I'm just testing to see, like, okay, so if I'm up $150 in a position and I'm risking that money that I have, right? Because I still have my stop at break even. Is that worth it to make an extra 50 holding for TP2? That's all I'm evaluating. And like at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because this should just go up as long as we're respecting the 3 minute. And so because I know that, no matter how much I'm risking here, it doesn't really matter. Like the probabilities are stacked in my favor for this to work to at least that, next liquidity level, which in this case is the, inefficiency above. But yeah, it's like a poker player kind of evaluating outs, right? You know, they're trying to determine if the bet that they have to match is worth taking, given how much outs are on the table, given probabilities, given whatever. So me sitting here trying to evaluate the risk reward, I have to figure out like, okay, what are the odds that this is going to end up hitting, and like the odds that we hit this previous hourly high, this 15-minute, are like very good. Like I feel like I see this hit 80% of the time. So because of that, I think it's worth risking $150 to make 50. Right? It's just got to be patient. That's all. Does that kind of make sense, Trade Boy? Like that self talk. Thinking about like evaluating outs as like a poker player. It's kind of like the same idea. Could I use a different metaphor? Okay. It's like a business person evaluating the cost benefit analysis for a potential merger. I guess. Like I don't know. You own Apple. Gotcha. So we're kind of making these stacked lows here. I mean, we're getting uncorrelated now because ES is making higher highs and NQ is making lower lows here. So just really choppy, bad price conditions. Bethan, is that friendly fire? Or is this the typical end of day pattern? Consolidate, manipulate, and run. So wait, you're not a woman? I always assumed you were a woman. I guess that's wrong with me to assume it's 2025. It's B Ethan. I always thought it was. I thought it was Beth. Bethan, like Beth Ann or something. I don't know. All right, it's B Ethan. Alrighty. It didn't bother you. You could have definitely said something. I've been calling you Beth for like however long you've been in here for. That's funny. I'm probably still gonna call you Beth just for the meme now. Even if he makes the B capital, it still looks like Bethan. Like he's got to make like the E capital, so it's like it's B Ethan. Here, I'll change it. I'll make it better. There you go. I fixed it. Yep, Meek. Dude, I've been in this trade for an hour and 20 minutes. I'm so done. We got the first take profit within 7 minutes, and it's taken an hour and 13, and we still haven't gotten the second one. Oh, man. Oh, man. I mean, maybe it's just 350. Maybe we're waiting on 350 here. I wouldn't. I was not expecting price to take all the way to 350 in order to make this work. Imagine like we manipulate down here now, and before 350 we inverse the 3 minutes to the downside, and then we get finally the move at 350 after all this time. Break even and rip, yep. The indicator alerted a 3 minute long A plus setup with the PA stall inside the 5 minute gap. When was that? This one, Sniper? Oh, we took this one. Yeah, for sure, Sheets. Yeah, I'm still in this, Pingu. I mean, pretty bad candle there, but I'm still holding out hope. I'm gonna get another SMT here probably at the low. NQ is gonna sweep it. ES is gonna keep it intact. So left equal lows there. Took it on micros. Oh wait, no we didn't. We just left equal lows. What time you would get out if it doesn't TP? I would just hold it till end of day. So I guess 4 o'clock. I hate the idea of leaving equal lows at the swing low here. I mean, I'd rather take those out for sure. I'd like to honestly start reversing before the macro so we get a little bit more of a cushion. I wouldn't want to be starting the macro right around break even because then we'll probably get knocked out just from the volatility. Can you hold until 4? Yeah, you can hold until 459 on Apex. On every other firm, it's usually 410. But yeah, on Apex, it's 459. Yeah, in 17 minutes. Yeah, that's probably when I would get out. So yeah, hopefully we just soup this low here and then get a nice bullish candle. Man, I am so glad I closed out my contracts when I did. Oh my goodness. I just keep thinking about that. Okay, so there's the equal lows. Dude, don't even tell me. All right, 3 minute looks like it's going to inverse to the downside here in about 4 seconds. Let's hope. We're good. We got another 3 minutes. But yeah, I mean, this is horrible. I think we're going to get break even here. Okay, I mean, let's cope. AMD, right? Accumulate here, manipulate, distribute, right? So now we should V-shape. Right? Put in the 1 minute order block here. Start the SMR. 4 minute YOLO. Yeah, 4 minute. We'll get that candle close in 2 more minutes. No 1 minute OB there. No. Okay, yeah, this is cooked. Making lower lows here. Looks like we're gonna inverse the 3 minute gap. I mean, yeah, this is cooked. Really? I mean, that's crazy. I don't know why this wouldn't have gone up there to at least hit that 15-minute unfilled gap. I mean, obviously we held the lower 15-minute and the 5, and we retraced to 50 and didn't really get displacement over it, so I guess that's probably why, but I don't know. I figured more upside was on the table. Yeah, same road. All right, 3 minutes still holding. Got another 30 seconds. We'll keep an eye on the close here. All right, 1 minute order block maybe. It's at a swing low, so it's got some significance. Good candle there. We got it. 3 minute held. Okay, we're still coping. Just gotta hope the volatility at 350 doesn't knock us out. And we make 350 pumps. That's about all we can do now. Minute and a half. No. Well, I'm already in the trade and it's a free trade, so I guess I'm gambling. But it's like somebody handed me a free scratch off, you know. But yeah, 7.5 points away for me for my break even, so getting real close here. I'll probably get wicked out with the volatility coming here in a minute. Yeah. I'm cooked. Break even. Damn. Alright, so I mean, depending on how you slice it, that was scale 2, break even on the rest. With the options. Trade, I feel like it makes sense there to at least scale something, but let's see if this 3 o'clock or this 3-minute inverse here holds at the end of the day. I mean, that's wild. We came back, tapped into that last 5-minute gap. We're getting a little bit of a 30-second gap here. Sat in that trade for an hour and a half just to get break even. Well, I guess we can watch to see if the break even saves us. No, I said to scale half at 1R, and then I said I was scaling more for my options play here when we form the equal highs, so that's why I said it's kind of a scale 2 play, but all good. Okay, so 30-second inverse there. I mean, if you want to jump back in, I'm done, obviously, for the day. You know, I caught my win, but still, is this holding? I guess it failed. Failed by a tick, so good thing we're done already. Do you put your break even at a tick above your entry so it doesn't show on your Tradeovate stats that you took a loss? No, I put my break even 3 ticks above my entry profitable so that I can cover commissions and account for slippage. All right. Pretty mid 350 macro. Okay, thanks. For sure, profitable. By the way, if for some reason you jumped in here on a long, I'd be break even. We hit that next high. Alright, see you tomorrow, Kent. Dude, like, this is so annoying. Well, this is literally what I said would happen. I said, imagine we get break even right before 350 and then 350 just rips. I actually really hope that 350 just, like, crashes so I don't have to deal with the FOMO of watching price hit our targets finally. I mean, like, what was the point of this down move here? I mean, I guess to tap into that 5-minute last gap in the leg, but, like, that's so annoying. Why not just hit TP2 there at least? Bro. Okay, protector. Not even the 30-second there, like, ended up being a win because it just lost there on the next candle. But I guess there you play the OB. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how you jump back in here. I mean, this is just going to go straight up. Whatever, I don't care. Why am I, like, so sad? I literally made 70% on my options. Like, what are we even talking about? I had a good day. All about perspective, right, guys? You know, if you're feeling down about something, just got to shift your perspective. And there's TP. We got previous hourly high there. Bruh. You guys think we hit high of day now? I mean, we're pushing up like we want to. We got 2 minutes left. Got to go another 40 points. I mean, how could it do that to us, man? I think if you entered here, by the way, Damo, you should be in from the 4-minute. If you're gonna chase, like, I just think honestly, it's best to just call it a day, though. Dude, that's insane. Generated so much liquidity in the last hour and a half, and then dumps down, creates that manipulation leg, right? We did get the AMD. It just manipulated a little too far for us. Came right to our break-even point and then went right back up. I mean, that's so horrible. It could have manipulated here and stopped at the 3-minute gap. It could have... Oh, wait. Would you look at that? Damn, I didn't even realize. Did you guys notice this? What have I been saying since we got in this trade? Since this gap formed? As long as we held this 3-minute, we'd still be bullish. And we held the 3-minute. Dude, that's horrible. But yeah, doesn't look like we're going to get high day here. That makes sense. Seeing that second TP hit after getting break even, though, was pretty heartbreaking. But I'm not too mad about it. It is what it is. Yep, wicks to do the damage. Body tells the story. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going to end stream today. Pretty good stream. Got our win. Obviously, you know, it could have been better if we got that second TP there for futures, but all good. Still a win. I will catch all of you tomorrow for AM since I'll be helping out Dodgy again. And then for those of you that aren't in AM, I'll catch you for PM. Peace out, everyone.